So today I am joined by one of my longtime friends here on YouTube, Mr. Gold Jacket Luke. Before this video starts, I want you all to subscribe to his channel. He is one of the very few people on this platform that I actually trust. And when I say that, I mean trust to do the right thing. His heart is in the right place. He's not here just to try to, make a buck off of people. He's actually one of the most sincere, honest, down-to-earth people that I've met and that you will soon meet here in a second. So without further ado, Luke, what's good, man?
Hey, Seth. Hey, I really appreciate it, and I could say all the same right back at you. So thank you for the kind introduction. That means a lot, and I could say all the same for you.
For sure. Appreciate that, man. So for those of you who don't know, Luke had, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Luke did what was an 808-day NOFAP, or semen retention streak. That is over 2 years. And it is something that, he has the crown as far as I'm concerned. Luke, just first, the first thing I want to ask you is, why did you decide to do this? What was going on in your head that made you even decide to embark on this type of endeavor, if you want to call it that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well, it started that I used to have a pretty serious porn addiction for several years, quite a bit of my life. I started for years and years of trying to overcome the porn addiction and trying NoFap and failing, and I actually ended up going to a therapist for a while, and that was one of the big things that helped me. And I decided to, I'm sick and tired of relapsing for years and years and years. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get this handled. So yeah, I went to a therapist. I read every book on the topic. I started making lots of YouTube videos about it. And at first, several years ago, I did a 90-day streak. But yeah, once I saw the therapist and put in all this work, I decided I want this to be a lifestyle. I want to never look at porn ever again. I want to retain my semen for the rest of my life. It wasn't just this 90-day challenge, but I wanted it to be a lifestyle forever, basically, like a complete identity change. And I'm very proud that I managed 808 days of NoFap. I'm quite proud of that, and in the future I hope to beat that even.
Yeah, for sure. So let me ask, did you, at the same time as you decided to quit porn, did you also decide that you wanted to do semen retention, or was that just the side effect of going so long without pornography?
Yeah, so that was in the very beginning. I did back in 2000. My 808-day NoFap streak started at the end of 2016. But in 2013, I actually did 90 days NoFap and no porn. And between 2013 and 2016, there were periods where I experimented with different things. For a period, I tried masturbating without porn, which I know that we're going to talk about in the video that we're going to make on my channel later on. And but for me, doing that, porn and masturbation were very linked for me, so it was hard to say, oh, I'm going to masturbate without porn, and then to not fantasize about porn or have the urge to go look at porn because they were so linked to me. So I learned the best way for me to quit porn that personally worked for me was to do semen retention and quit porn at the same time, and I just felt lots of benefits from semen retention. So just through experimenting, that's what I found worked best for me, and I decided to give my best shot doing both.
Damn, that's crazy, dude. Well, congrats. I know it's a little late, but I still tip my hat off to you. That was a pretty massive amount of time to go without it, and it seems like you're always kind of pushing the envelope and trying to stretch yourself even further. So I talked to some of the guys on my Instagram, and we thought we would ask you some questions about this 808-day streak. So first question we'll toss out there is, what is something physical, or what is something you changed physically or experienced on a physical level going this long with holding your seed?
Sure, yeah. Well, several people have told me that my voice has gotten a little bit deeper, and I think that's true, and I do think my facial hair maybe has gotten a little bit thicker.
Hey, there you go.
So I'm kind of skinny right now because of the COVID. You know, all the gyms are closed, but I don't know. You know, I did just feel more energy levels. You know, just physically stronger. But I'd say most of my benefits were more mental and emotional. But yeah, I did have those physical benefits.
Damn. Yeah, that's crazy. I would imagine also probably some spiritual benefits too, but I guess we'll save that for
Definitely.
for a different conversation. So I think the next most pressing question that people probably want to know is the question was how to kill the urges. So like should someone embarking on this kill the urges? How do you kill urges while you're on this streak?
Yeah, it's a great question. And if someone can kill an urge through, for example, a cold shower or through taking a run or taking a walk, that's something I highly recommend. But we're not always, in my experience, in a situation where we can kill an urge. And so I'm not quite sure I like that language, but for me, a big part of my journey was just accepting the urge. You know, sometimes it's 3 a.m. and we get an urge, and it's not really a time to take a cold shower or go for a run. And sometimes we just need to lay in bed, feel that urge, and kind of suffer with that urge. So part of it's just feeling the urge and processing it and going through the suffering of the urge, knowing that there's a rainbow on the other side of that.
For sure. Yeah. You did a video at some point that said something along the lines of like, you have to bear your suffering, like you owe it to yourself to endure that suffering. And that always stuck with me.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
That's been a huge part of my journey. Yeah. Doing stuff like removing technology from the bedroom and stuff like that could all be very helpful. But at the end of the day, it's all about just kind of bearing that suffering and feeling that urge and knowing that the desire to be strong and to be strong and pure is bigger than that urge to look at porn, and that it's hard, but it's infinitely worth the discipline, and the journey is infinitely worth it.
For sure, for sure. So I think you just mentioned something about social media, and that ties into one of our other questions from one of our viewers is, does social media affect the rebooting process in your experience?
Yeah, well, in my opinion and experience, especially like Instagram can have lots of almost like softcore porn type of images, you know, girls in bikinis all over the place on Instagram. Same with YouTube, like lots of YouTube thumbnails. There's actually lots of kind of softcore porn type stuff on YouTube. So in my experience, it's important to be extremely disciplined and structured about how one uses social media. For example, no social media at night, or I know lots of people who have just deactivated their social media if they're trying to get rid of an addiction because there's so many triggers there. But that's one good thing about porn addiction recovery is it forces us to improve other areas of our life that if we never had a porn addiction, maybe we would just leave under the radar. So it's a good habit anyways to not be on social media that much anyways.
Yeah, for sure. I always say never underestimate anything that could possibly trigger you, because it doesn't take much, especially when you're like very new to this. It does not take a lot. It can be literally a billboard, and on that billboard on the freeway or something, you see a woman in a bikini, like that could send you down. So social media.
It's crazy. It's crazy in our society. Yeah, it's everywhere.
100%. 100%.
So yeah, you gotta be careful out there.
Okay, so another question we have is it healthy to not masturbate? Because there seems to be a lot of confusion centered around like the whole prostate argument. Like, well, enjoy your prostate cancer seems to be one of the most popular comments from NOFAP disbelievers. So what is your take on whether or not it's healthy or not to masturbate?
Yeah, and it's a great excuse by the porn addicts or the people who claim masturbation is healthy and do it all the time. It's in my opinion similar to the argument that cigarettes were healthy 50 years ago. I've actually done a lot of research on this. I even made like a 20-minute video on my channel going through the prostate stuff, and through all my research, there's nothing conclusive that not masturbating affects the prostate. And I think not masturbating is the healthy thing to do that actually should be encouraged.
And one thing I think people that say that really tend to overlook is wet dreams. You are going to have a wet dream. I don't know, I've heard conflicting arguments about wet dreams, but in my opinion, that seems to be what the body will naturally do when it needs to. So that is the number one, I think, diffuser to that argument.
I completely agree. If there is some built up of tension or anything, you'll have a wet dream. So yeah, I completely agree. So there's, I'm not a doctor, but in my research and experience, I don't think there's anything to worry about.
I think that automatically cancels out that argument. So to all the NoFap haters, you have nothing, again, you have no ammunition to fight this, okay? Your body will do what it needs to do. All right, so it seems to be another popular question is, does masturbation without ejaculation count as NoFap? And I'm kind of laughing because I don't know exactly what that means, I guess.
Yes, I'm guessing that's like edging.
Okay.
I mean, does it count? Everyone has different goals, so it depends on what your goals are.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of like playing with fire to masturbate and edge yourself to get close and then not ejaculate, and doing something like that where you're getting really close and teasing yourself, that could actually be something that builds up some pressure maybe.
Yeah.
I don't have experience with that. I was never into that. I would, I mean, as long as you're not looking at porn, I think that's the main thing, but I would be careful. The edging or masturbating without ejaculating, that seems to me to be playing with fire, and that's not something I would recommend. What are your thoughts on that, Seth?
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm assuming this person was asking about pornography, but the better question would be, if you're an alcoholic, is it okay to go into a bar, order a beer, put the beer up to your mouth, but not actually sip it? You're literally playing with fire, as you said. There is no value in that. If you find yourself in that scenario, it means, or it says that there's still a lot of room for you to grow, and there's still more for you to go. So I think the type of person that asked that question is probably still stuck in a headspace where they're having a hard time separating themselves from the addiction. And I think that's a common question to ask.
I think you're completely right, yeah.
So yeah, I don't think you'll ask that question unless you are still kind of in that very vulnerable, touchy state, where you're trying to fight this thing head on. So yeah, and I think the last question to kind of wrap this all up is, was it worth it?
Yeah, 10,000% yes. This has been one of the most rewarding and fulfilling journeys in my life. This is one of the things I'm most proud about. My self-esteem is way better, my confidence is way better, my energy is up. When I look at myself in the mirror, I'm proud of myself. I'm more confident around girls. I'm more myself. I don't have an addiction. I feel more in control. It's 10,000% worth it.
I'm inclined to agree. I haven't made it to 808 days, nowhere near that, but I'm gonna go ahead and say I agree with you that it is worth it. And even for the guys that are out there that are trying and failing, even trying and failing is worth it. It's way more worth it than just perpetually falling back into these old habits and patterns of masturbating to pornography or masturbating without pornography. It'll always be worth it. And I know that there are all these conflicting ideas and opinions about it, but you have to decide for yourself. You have to, don't listen to this video and just assume that what we're saying is true. Like, figure it out for yourself. Is this right for me? But yeah, I think unanimously most guys that are on the NoFap journey agree that it is 10,000% worth it, like you said. You know what, look, Luke, very, very glad to have you on the channel today. Thank you for taking the time out to kind of share your experience. Again, if you guys are not subscribed to my boy, I will leave a link. It'll be the only link in the description. Well, maybe not the only, but the first. Subscribe to his channel. I'll leave a link to his YouTube, his Instagram, and just show your love and support. And yeah, Luke, thanks again, man. Appreciate you.